can't just be her. We got to make sure all other people, as well as ourselves, are, going along with how we can make America great again. I had to. That was hilarious.
Girl, bye. Can we just hang up on Lisa?
I'm sorry. I had to.
Maybe that's why she got that red shirt on. Where's your red hat?
You gotta make America great again, right? It's great. It's great. It's great, guys. It's so
beautiful.
Great. It's great.
It's the greatest it's ever been.
The greatest ever been.
In
we got a lot going on.
Of America.
Right.
I'm Shannon.
And I'm Lisa.
And KK's here too. And you're listening to Blacktivities.
A celebration of all things Black.
Black culture, Black history,
Black perspectives, and Black panache.
Celebrating our Blackness doesn't mean exclusion.
Everybody's invited, but you gotta come in and have a seat.
So let the Blacktivities begin. Okay, y'all. At the beginning of the season, we said we were on a break, but the sabbatical is over. It's 911 SOS. Send out the bat signal for the 92%. Regulators, mount up. Thanks for joining us today on Blacktivities. I'm Shannon.
I'm Lisa. Hey, how you doing?
And I'm KK.
Okay, I gotta take my glasses off because I can't see my screen anymore.
My tit is too big. Hold
on. Thanks for joining us on Blacktivities. Y'all, I really thought we were gonna get this break, but we record our shows weeks before they air typically. So, as the Cheeto in chief, who sounds less educated than my first grader, has taken office and wreaked havoc on our democracy. Some of the things that we said in previous episodes has gone to the wayside. It's all hands on deck so that we don't find ourselves back in the 1950s.
Yes.
First, let's talk about our season sponsor, Hope Inc., which stands for Helping Other People Be Empowered. Hope provides single parents who are trying to get a degree with assistance for childcare and rent. But it's not just about the money. They also provide the resources for these single parents to elevate their entire life. They provide budget coaching, life skill training, and even counseling services so that these single women and men can grow and thrive and better themselves for the next generation and generations to come. So for more information about how you can become a Hope participant or support these single mothers and fathers, please visit their website, hopbe.org. Check the show notes for a direct link. All right, y'all ready for the big facts?
Let's go.
Since we're talking about how we can come together and resist the current attack on Blackness and Black people, I thought we should look at how our people did it in the past. So during our American history, there have been several methods of peaceful protest used. These methods included sit-ins, boycotts, freedom rides, marches and demonstrations, voter registration campaigns, civil disobedience, and legal challenges. So let's take a deeper dive into some of these tactics. Actually, during slavery, enslaved people would do things like ruin equipment and supplies, or they would work slowly and fake illnesses. Free allies would publish letters and critical pieces in anti-slavery papers like Frederick Douglass's Abolitionist North Star. There were secret networks of safe houses to help escapees get to Canada, and some would even buy enslaved people's freedom. Black soldiers fought for their freedom literally in the Civil War. And after gaining freedom, as we all know, black codes and then Jim Crow laws were put into place to continue unequal treatment. How did black people resist? We educated ourselves and we made sure that people became literate after it had been previously outlawed. We founded churches and organizations to fight injustice. 8,000 black people marched silently down Fifth Avenue in NYC in 1909 to advocate for fair wages and jobs. There was a planned march in DC in 1941 to protest job discrimination in the defense industry. That never happened because President Roosevelt heard that it was going to happen and issued an executive order banning discrimination in defense hiring. In 1957, a Civil Rights Act was passed that authorized the Justice Department to sue on behalf of black people in the South who still couldn't vote. This was sparked by a prayer march on the Lincoln Memorial where 25,000 people showed up to protest and speak out because President Eisenhower refused to hold a White House conference on civil rights. Successful sit-ins to desegregate public facilities happened in Chicago in 1942, St. Louis in 1949, and Baltimore in 1952, not to mention many others across the country that would happen in the 60s at lunch counters. They also had kneel-ins in the 60s where they would go in and disrupt all-white church services. The first freedom ride, called A Journey for Reconciliation, happened in 1947 when 8 black men and 8 white men rode interstate buses through Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Kentucky, and they got harassed and arrested to focus national attention on injustice and segregation. Another big freedom ride happened in 1961 in the Deep South. There was a group who started it, and every time someone was arrested or beat up, people would just come in and replace them and sit in their seats to continue the protest. They walked in to vote and to enroll in schools, despite the threat of violence, to cement the laws that were passed to end segregation and discrimination at the polls and in schools. The Montgomery bus boycott in the mid-50s involved 42,000 people and lasted 381 days. They hid them in their pockets, which led to integrating all the city buses. In 1963, there was a selective buying boycott to pressure local businesses for equal access to jobs. Legal victories include a class action lawsuit filed in 1951 and one in 1954 that was Brown versus Board that challenged segregation in schools. Browder versus Gale ruled that segregated public transportation was unconstitutional. There's many more. There's so much more stuff that I could talk about, but we would be here forever. The bottom line is we were 10 toes down for our freedom and our rights, period. And all our kids learn about in school is MLK and Rosa Parks. Now, that might not be a fact, but it's a point. If you want to read more, check the show notes for some resources. I linked a bunch of stuff. And that's the big facts.
Thank you for that, because it's very important. Everything that you brought up, that protest has been happening, resistance has been happening for a long time, but we only hear about certain actions of resistance. I think about slave rebellions also as a form of resistance. And, you know, when we think about the ways that we do it, and you often hear the narrative that, oh, we can never get together, we can never be on one accord. Well, it was 92% of Black women and 88% of Black men. So I would say we were definitely on one accord when it came to voting against this chaos and craziness that we're experiencing from Orange Satan currently.
No, I've been over here laughing. I'm on mute because I've been trying to keep myself together. Other little shots that y'all have been taking. I'm trying to be, mature about this thing. But y'all is wilding with the name calling, Jesus. That's all I'm going to say.
It's true.
Well, I will be using these. Thank you.
For those that cannot see me, I came in my camouflage with my Angela Davis hairstyle,
Yes.
and I did have some black glasses on, but I can't see, so I had to take them off. But we're talking about resisting today because there's a lot of stuff that's going on. And that was really like a gloss over what I gave in the big facts of all the stuff that's happened. I feel like our generation has not had to organize in the way that people had to do it in the past, that our ancestors had to do it in the past. But I think it's necessary at this point for us to resist in some way.
It is necessary. I think we really need to be strategic about it because positional power is being used. We just can't scream and yell. And we just can't be, we know what's in Project 2025. So we can't just be reactionary. We need to be proactive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the fact that we're not able to just pause and, fly here and there and do what we want for the next 4 years, which is what we had planned to do. Look, because Michelle said, get somebody else to do it. I think that's what we all said, get somebody
Yeah.
else to do it. But it appears we've been on call instead, and that pager went off and we need to respond accordingly. So with that said, we do need to figure out what it looks like and then be sure to take breaks in between. I don't think it's going to be a put your cape on and keep it on 24/7, but I think as needed, you could put your cape on. But we certainly have to consider what it looks like and be strategic. And just like we aligned in the vote, we need to align with what we need to focus on. And it'll be different for each state. It'll be different for each region. And I think we need to be activated in that way. And Jasmine Crockett cannot shoulder this by herself.
Yes. I have been saying this as much as I shared this with y'all. We need to protect this sister at all costs because she is out there doing her job. Even though we said that we was going to sit back and watch it work, with the big facts that Shannon just shared with us, sometimes just sitting back is not it, and we have to be actionary when it comes to how big this is, especially with this whole Project 2025, which they was like, oh no, what do you mean? We have no idea what you're talking about. Then the first time Chester, let me stop, came in, he was just like putting it into play. So if y'all can, like, so whoever's hearing this, man, we need to come together and just follow this sister and protect her at all costs because it's just, she's calling everybody out. She is bringing attention to so many things, and then it's just like a breath of fresh air to see someone that is so direct and to have okay, in politics, to have someone that is very direct is great, but the fact that she is a woman and on top of that a black woman, it is scary. It
She's
is,
taken so much heat.
yes, it is scary, but I admire her because she is what I strive to be, which is she is herself. And that is how you look when you know what you're talking about. You have the qualifications to back it, and you have a plan. You have a plan. You have a plan in place, and you're just waiting for the opportunity to put that plan in place. So I just say, y'all, please just pray for her. And again, it can't just be her. We got to make sure all other people, as well as ourselves, are going along with how we can make America great again. I had to. That was hilarious. Y'all don't think America's great?
Girl, bye. Can we just hang up on Lisa?
I'm sorry, I had to.
Maybe that's why she got that red shirt on. Where's your red hat?
We gotta make America great again, right? It's great. It's great. It's great, guys. It is
It's
so
beautiful.
great. It's great.
It's the greatest it's ever been.
The greatest ever been.
In the
we got a lot going on.
Of America.
Right.
These countries are not playing with us either. And I'm sure y'all saw China's response. China's like, basically, I don't know if y'all ever heard that clip. If you want to go to war, I'll take you to war. Because that's what China basically said. They not playing.
Somebody has to stand up to the bully.
Yeah. And they said they used the term bullying tactics. It was not spoken in English, but the translation that I saw was in English, and it talked about bullying tactics. And I really hope that Europe stands behind Ukraine, because I don't know that we're going to come to an agreement. And I don't think Zelensky needs to. I think he needs to look to other allies. And, you know, and speaking of the vote, when we voted, 92% Black women and 88% Black men, our allies did not show up. So for me, and I believe we said it on another episode, these people do not support our well-being. It does not support our mission and our purpose. And so we need to really consider who we're calling allies.
Say it, baby.
So talking about our Black leaders, how do y'all feel about the walkout that happened in the State of the Union or whatever it is address? I didn't watch it.
I want to direct the attention of them singing "We Shall Overcome."
Who?
You ain't hear about that?
Oh Lord, did they sing that on the House floor? Oh my.
I felt like that was just no.
That is a slap in the face.
That did not fit. That did not fit.
Who sang it?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and pull it up. I watched the video, and it made me sick at the stomach. Where I just turned it off because I was like, that does not fit. Somebody said that it was equivalent to them being in the kente cloths.
And
when they
kneeling,
the whole bow down thing.
Yes.
What are y'all doing,
baby? No, that's.
Was it all of them, or was it just the Black Congress people?
I want to say it was all. I'm gonna go back and pull it up. I want to say it was all.
No.
It was all, and I'm like, that was just no.
Because it was the National Black Caucus that walked out, and then Al Green got kicked out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All these performative things, and this is why you have people saying, and you know, I agree, but this is why people are saying that nobody deserves the Black vote. Nobody has proven themselves to be worthy of the Black vote because there isn't anyone who is coming up with solutions for the Black community. If somebody comes up with something great, that's who gets the votes. But right now we have somebody that is tearing down every single thing that disabled people, women, minorities, LGBT community, all of that. And I take that word back, minorities, but you know, people of color, disenfranchised and marginalized people. This stuff is being rolled back intentionally. And if there was a party that really had a purpose and really was earning our vote, we're just giving the vote just because. Instead of doing that, I believe these people need to earn it. What is your plan for the Black community? What is your plan? And that needs to be our approach. So we have these 4 years to galvanize, to strategize, and as we're doing that, to put forth an effort and say, okay, this is the way we want to go. And you could pick, am I working on reparations? Am I working on this? Am I working on that? and then find a groove and get into it. And then that way you're not all over the place scattered, because this whole distraction thing of squirrel, squirrel, squirrel is
Yes,
happening
that's
because
exactly what it feel
they're
like.
throwing stuff at us. And I wouldn't be surprised, and this is total hypothesis, even though this man just blew up a spaceship, just blew up all these planes and stuff like that. I think that's strategic to highlight those things so that however long Doge lasts or doesn't last, that can be okay. Well, these planes have been falling, so let's put Elon in charge of aviation, because this is his thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if all of the chaos that's coming around that isn't even strategic. So we have to, as a community, be proactive and position ourselves to do things rather than be reactive. Oh my God, a plane. Oh my God, education. Oh my God, this. And everybody's just running around trying to figure out which fire to put out, and they steady burning fires. This is the tactic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
was inspired by the State of the People that went on, where there was like a broadcast of like a bunch of leaders in the Black community who are actually doing the work. And for 24 hours, they just continuously broadcast about Black people and the Black agenda and things that we need to pay attention to. And one of the things that they were saying on there was that, they're trying to create division between minority groups and between Black people because, they want to split the vote on certain things, or they want us to, there's power in numbers and they know that. So if they split minorities, even though, similar things are happening in different minority groups, then there's less power because there's not a collective group of people working for the same agenda. So, yeah, I don't know, I felt empowered after watching that. But there is a group called the Collective PAC that is trying to fund and get Black leaders into these positions of power. And so if you have any kind of money to give and put behind that, that would probably be a good place to promote more diversity, because really is like old white men are the majority. And, we need more of our voices in there.
I think it would be helpful to share that fund information, because if it's going into a fund that's helping the fight, some people that may be their only means of getting involved. They're not necessarily the type of people to get in the street. I think that's still an opportunity to move the needle.
Yeah. I'll put that information in our show notes in case somebody's looking for it.
Man, this conversation's getting good. You know what else is good? Hope Inc. is doing a lot of good. Are you a single parent in college in Metro Atlanta and you need help with rent and childcare? Hope Inc. wants to help. Visit hopbe.org to apply, and you could get up to $400 a month to help with rent and childcare so you can stay in school and get that degree. Again, that's hopbe.org. Apply today.
So, what are some ways that you guys think we can peacefully resist what's happening? Because in the past, there's been a lot of talk, but then there's not been a lot of solutions, or, there hasn't been a concerted effort that everybody can get behind. I know that Pastor Bryant organized the whole Target boycott. But I think it's going to take more than just targeting Target.
I think that we should take this serious, because we don't take it. We're not taking this serious. we don't have the same power that they had back then when they was doing the sit-ins and all of that. So we don't take it serious. No one is going to take it serious until something physically happens to them in their community. And
Yeah,
that's what
we haven't had
sucks.
to do it. We haven't had to exercise this muscle before.
Right, right. And I think that's what sucks. So it's going to take all of us to be on the same accord and take it serious before it can happen. Because the amount of black folks that they said was at Walmart that day when we weren't supposed to be spending no coinage. Okay. And another thing too, with that one city, they did have something they boycotted. It was like, which one was that? It was like a year that they didn't do anything. It was like 356 days or something like
It
that.
was
I can't.
was it not the
Oh,
bus?
it was the buses. I
It was
thought
the
you were talking about
Yeah,
buses.
something that happened
Okay.
recently.
Oh no
But
no
yeah,
no!
it was the
Back then
buses.
it was like, so think of how long it took for the for it to be felt. You
right,
understand?
right,
Whereas in those other people in their defense, just boycotting one day, that doesn't do anything, because what we saw was people would say, okay, we boycotting that Friday, so I gotta go grocery shopping Wednesday, I'm gonna order my stuff off of Amazon Thursday. They still got the money regardless. It didn't make no difference.
Yeah.
So
right.
be realistic, and we need to come up with some type of plan and take it serious. That's the
Yeah.
main thing.
If we're
Find
going to boycott, it's going to take some sacrifice.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's more than just that one day. And I just want to say this, and it's going to be controversial.
Oh, I'm ready.
I don't believe resistance always has to be peaceful.
Okay. Let's
Okay, Malcolm.
Nuck. We knucking, we bucking and ready to fight.
Yeah. And we ain't never scared. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I I believe we have been conditioned to resist peacefully. However, this is not what is happening to us. It's not peaceful resistance when they're finding our young black men and even some women at this point hanging themselves, right?
Right. Right.
I think that we need to be ready. And it is not a nonviolent, non confrontational thing that we are seeing. And I realize that, there was a sister, beautiful sister, who said during COVID, she was like, just be glad we're not trying to fight, which mirrors what our great poet brother said, Lord, why can't I remember his name? You know who I'm talking about. But the thing is, I don't believe resistance has to be peaceful. And I'll tell you why. Because these people are ready, they are prepared. Just like with Project 2025, I drove through Texas. I want to say it was during COVID, and there was Trump stuff all over. And on one piece of land that we drove by, there was something mentioned about silence. Like they're moving in silence. We say gangsters move in silence. They're moving in silence. All of this stuff is planned. There is a planned resistance in all of this. So while our kids are busy working on TikTok dances, don't get me wrong,
Thank you.
I
Thank
want to do the
you.
where them fans at dance, boots on the ground. I want to do all that. But I also noticed that when I go to, and my son took us a while back to one of the ranges here where I live. And in that range, there were children there, children. I want to say they were very young. They weren't in double digits, but these kids were out there handling firearms. Our kids were not. And so it was us, adults, no children were with us, and we were the only chocolate chips on that cookie. And there were children out there who were extremely skilled in using firearms. This is what these folks are preparing for. And the whole, and I'm going to say something else. This whole thing about prepping, we need to learn from Black folks what prepping looks like, and we need to prepare because we're not prepared with resources. We fussing about eggs, but do you have a storage of water? Do you have resources, flashlights, batteries, candles? Do you have that stuff? Do you have guns? Are your children prepared? Because ain't no boots on the ground gonna save us. We need to prepare, and I don't think resistance is always peaceful. We need to fight.
Right. Okay. At first I was like, hold on, KK. Like, come on, baby. I ain't trying to go to jail on this one. You know what I'm saying? But I have to agree with you, especially the story you just shared of that experience of going to the range. I have to. I agree with you. I have to agree with you 100%. But when it comes to my kids, though, I don't know about taking them to the range like that.
They'll
We're
be
gonna work.
safe there.
We'll
I
work
think
on it. We'll work on it.
when I started going to Trayvon rallies,
Uh-huh.
um, I was taking my kids there. We were going to the range. It's like you're going to get out here and you're going to go to the range. And
Mhm.
when, my son enlisted in the military, he was making sure the family got out there
Oh
because
wow.
it's nothing to play with. And we need to be ready too. We need to own land. We need to move on that land. There's a lot that needs to happen.
That is something, let me tell you, I can say my brother is really, really big on land. He has been talking about this. He has a plan in place. And he has been talking about this for the past year and a half, where he wants me, myself, my mom, my dad, like we put our coinage together and we buy, land. He's even mapped out places in like 2 different states that we're going to do this in. And at first I wasn't feeling it because he was on this whole family compound type thing. So I was like, hold on, bro. I don't like being that close to y'all like
I'm
that.
down
But
for that.
again, like after thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, this is where it's at, especially with the way the world is going nowadays. I was like, yeah, this is where it's at. And I am going to take that into consideration about the whole range thing. Um, as much as I want my children, my girls, to be strong, independent Black women, I feel like the way the world is going nowadays, that's a skill that they need to have as well. So thank you for putting something on my to-do list. When they come home, I'm strapping up. I got my pieces together. And I think that's something that we are going to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I
It's
feel like that's part of the reason why Trump let the January 6th people out, because if something goes down, he wants a little militia.
See, that is wild. I didn't
But
even
there are
think of it like that.
people out there prepping militia type work.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like going to the range. I haven't been there in a while, but yeah.
Okay. I'm finna go. Okay, y'all. Well, let's sum this up so I can go. I got somewhere to go. I got a field trip.
For some people, they're not going to do that though. So what can other people do? I think one of the biggest things that we need to do is show up to meetings, show up to vote, not just on presidential elections, but all the little small elections. We're going to have to
Yes.
start showing up for those
As
things.
they say. Yes. This is
Yeah.
true. Facts.
People need to
Facts.
get into their lane though. So if your lane is the resistance in the way I believe in that
Yeah.
whole, the resist. I don't believe in passive resistance. So I can resist that way. If that's not somebody else's wheelhouse, they can do reparations. Somebody
Absolutely.
else can just do donations. Somebody else can do prep only and teach classes about prep only, right? And
Right.
that's just storing up enough things. That has nothing to do with firearms. Somebody can talk about land. You see what I'm saying? Get in where you fit in, find your lane.
Right.
And that's how you do it. It's a coordinated strategic effort is what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was something that they were talking about as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were talking about how there are a lot of Black organizations, instead of just like creating new organizations. Like, we need to come together and say, okay, this organization, you guys focus in this area, and this organization, you guys focus in this area. And so that way all areas are covered, like KK was talking about.
Right.
Um,
Right.
yeah.
I want to really quick. I want to shout out, her name is Naquan Robinson. She is from my hometown, Chattanooga, Tennessee. March the 8th, she was elected leadership for the Democratic Party for Hamilton County. She is the first African American woman to be able to lead there. Okay. She is an amazing person, business owner, like on top of, she has a regular thing she has going on. But I just think that's phenomenal. And that is a great example of how we need to get out and vote, because starting with the small, little areas there first before we go out to the presidential elections, that makes a big deal. So I just want to give a shout out to her as well.
Yeah, we
And
need
that's a
more
lane
leaders
in and of
too.
itself. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shan.
No, you're saying the same thing that I was about to say.
Hmm.
That, like, somebody has to do that job too.
Yep.
So
There's
it's not
room
my
for
lane.
everybody.
Right.
Yeah. Um, I am okay, let me say this.
Uh-oh.
I'm an educator, right?
Right.
And so there are initiatives that have come down to try to keep us from learning about history as it happened, and not being able to talk about diversity and things. So, I mean, I continue to read diverse stories because I teach reading. So I think, we should be reading about everybody's culture, not just, the characters are always white. Like, so, I mean, there's even a way to resist in that.
Right.
And of course, they try to spin it and say, oh, you're trying to indoctrinate our children. But no, like, just teach history the way it happened.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right.
I would just
Now,
say with that, Shannon, I know you're prohibited from some conversations, but if
mhm.
there's a community group or a community center, that would be a great opportunity to have those conversations and share those stories, and even a display of banned books.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. I've thought about this too. Well, not thought about. What I want to do is the banned books that they do have. Like, it starts at home with our own children.
Yep.
We still have
Definitely.
access to them.
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
get it. Start a little small book club among your own family. You
Yep.
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? That's fun. That's bonding. I would rather do that than the TikTok video. Because, honey, I swear to God, if my kids
Yeah.
come home one more time trying to teach me a dance, baby, no, ma'am, no. But I think that that's something that we should do.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. I'm gonna actually put that as my call to action. Y'all can skip over me. That's my call to action, is finding resources and options that's available to, the families. That way we can kind of find our own way to resist internally.
And teaching our own kids our history, their
Right.
history,
Right.
that's not being taught in schools.
Right.
And yeah, my job as an educator is not to indoctrinate your child or make them agree with my beliefs. It's just to expose them to real life and help them to be able to think critically and
Right.
not just believe everything that's just put out there for them to believe. So, educators are not indoctrinating people's children. That is
Mm-mm.
a lie.
This especially applies in the state of Florida, where the children are being educated or told, it's not even educated, but they're being indoctrinated with falsehoods such as we immigrated over here and we're taught skills. That narrative is horrendous. And I had a conversation with somebody and I was like, hey, what do you think about this going on in your state? And they was like, well, we're just going to pray. I said, pray? Pray?
Drake?
These people have told you what they're doing. The reason you have the information is because of prayer, because the Lord said you need to know what's happening. Now act.
Right.
Yeah. And that's how they spin it, because really that is indoctrination. When you try to spin the narrative, but that's not what we're doing. And they try to say that educators are indoctrinating.
Right.
The same way they're trying to say, they're trying to spin it and make it so that now, like on the job front for hiring, right? DEI is the enemy. But so that they're trying to spin it and make it look like only white males can be competent to do whatever job. So that can potentially affect us being hired.
Right.
And keep us from positions of power.
Yeah.
Y'all are always just, I don't know, I say this all the time. I look so forward to having this kumbaya with y'all, because it gives me the opportunity to be myself. And then also we putting out there positive information, the facts that is provided. And then, we throw in our opinions, but again, we're looking on the light of, this is something that us as Black people, our culture, things that we need to focus on. So I want to say I appreciate being a part of something like this that is just so great.
I mean, I think this is our own little way of resisting.
Yes, exactly. So with that being said,
I'm going to put my glasses back on for you.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. You ain't finna have them on long, though. You want to know why?
Because I can't see.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm resisting with my piece today. You're not finna get a whole lot. It's called I Ain't Doing It. I ain't doing nothing. Ain't helping. Don't look at me. I see your struggle, but my choice of reciprocating temporarily makes me smile. I saw the issue that lies, figured out the plan to the problem while you vent and you pour. As the vent come as a complaint, it must be nice. As much as I want to dive deeper, I won't. I won't sing that I will overcome because I'm tired, so I won't. I'll vote every time. Us together? No, we don't. We don't do it, but it's possible. But until we figure it out, I ain't doing nothing. Thank you. Hey, look at Shay Boogie. Look at Shay.
I know that's right.
Yes.
All right, ladies. What is your call to action for the culture?
Well, I gave my call to action earlier, but I also want to say we need to take this serious.
Yeah.
We need to get off the TikToks and the social media. As much as it is nice to be an influence and a content creator, no shade against you, but make sure that the content you're putting out there, it is worth something. It is putting something out there. And if we're going to resist to make a mark on, actually having a result of this situation, then we need to come together. So that's very important. Take it serious, please.
I agree with that. It needs to be taken very seriously. Understand that these people are working in silence, working in the background. Gangsters move in silence. And we need to really take that. Thank you, Brother Ice Cube, for giving us that, or, NWA or whoever. But thank you for that, because we do need to do that. And we need to practice active resistance and not be caught off guard and be reactionary in a time and space when these people ain't playing with us. They have shown us in multiple ways that they are not playing. And the goal is to get you back on the free labor plantation. The goal is to keep a foot on your neck. And we're not talking about police. We're talking about as a member of this society in general. The goal is to have a foot on your neck so that you cannot move and you cannot breathe, and you need to take it seriously and find your lane and get active.
Yeah. I'm calling the culture to get in where you fit in. It's all hands on deck. And the only way that our ancestors were able to affect change was to become about it. Right. And just do it. Whether you got a show called Blacktivities and you speak out about and bring awareness to Black issues, or you might be marching and protesting, or you might be boycotting and buying from as many Black-owned businesses as you can. The bottom line is do something, resist. So if you enjoyed this episode, click that plus in Apple Podcasts or that subscribe button in YouTube to make sure you keep getting these episodes. We love to hear what you love about the show in the comments and your reviews. I'd love to hear the ways that people are going to start or have been resisting. So if you're watching us on YouTube, comment, tell us how you're resisting. Thank you to our sponsor, Hope Inc. I will promote this organization all day because I see the work that they're doing and the difference that they're making. If you want to be a part of what Hope is doing to help these single parents, if you're a single parent yourself, or if you know someone who would benefit from these services, please visit their website, hopbe.org. So, ladies, this is our last episode of season 6.
I also want to just put out there that invitation. Like, Hope has, really, been great this season. But if there is any other, small businesses, organizations out there that really want to spread, awareness to what they have, we want to make sure that we're doing our part and putting that information out there, and then we can discuss that. So hit us up at Blacktivities Pod.
Yeah, we want to partner.
Yeah, definitely. That would be great. That'd be great.
So we will be back in the second blackest month of the year, June.
Yes.
Even if there's some executive action trying to get rid of Juneteenth. In the off season, you can catch us on IG. We do respond personally when y'all comment.
Yes.
So there may be some bonus content coming out every now and then as well.
I want to do more interviews. Let's interview more people. I definitely want to. So if you're interested in coming and just talking to us and, hey, shed light on whatever product you have, let's do it. Send some products to us. That way we can test them out. Hey!
You're just trying to get free stuff, girl.
We're supporting.
KK, you got any final comments?
No, this was great. Thank y'all for another successful season. I really enjoy you two working together with y'all, and I really enjoy how everybody shows up and is really serious about this work because it's necessary. And to the members of our audience, thank you for supporting Blacktivities, season 6. I've only been on here for 4 and 5 and 6, and I look forward to season 7. And I love y'all, and we got this.
Yep, we're trying to continue to get better and better. Grace and blessings to all of our listeners out there. We appreciate you, and until we meet again,
King and queens, keep doing big things. Let's go.
Fight the power that be.